Gardening. It boosts our mood, our mental well-being, our physical health. It feeds us, brings us peace and joy, draws whole communities together. No matter if you're a sophisticated horticulturalist, a flower adorer, or just starting to get green-fingered. No matter if your plants live in a pot or your garden blooms in full. No matter if you like to work with your hands or look for digital inspiration. No matter what season or stage of life, every bit of green planted helps us breathe a little easier and moves us closer to a better, more sustainable future. And we want the whole world to feel it. There are no rules. All it takes to garden is the passion to do so. Realize your gardening dreams. Gardena.
This is the Premier Garden Show. And here is your host, Anthony Faulkner.
Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 80 of the Premier Garden Show, and this is another guest that I am delighted to welcome onto the Premier Garden Show, an award-winning landscaper, also an author and a lecturer. Big Irish welcome to Garrett. So, hi Garrett.
Thank you for having me on board, I really appreciate it.
Yeah, so I suppose we'll go back to the start then, and where it all started for you, and maybe, tell us if there was anyone that, give you a little bit of inspiration.
Okay. Well, my mum and dad, they've got a very big garden. My dad sadly passed away last year in November, but my mum's still alive, and they've still got a very, very big garden. My dad, when I was very young, gave me basically a corner of the garden. Well, not even a corner really, just a piece of the garden, probably 4 meters by about 3 meters. And he said, that's yours, do whatever you want in it. So we used to call it the digging patch, me and my brother. So what I used to do was we used to split the perennials in the gardens and we used to plant them up. We used to take cuttings, because I think it was my granddad who showed me how to take cuttings and things like that. Softwood, hardwood cuttings. We made a pond out of some visqueen. We planted a few trees. We planted a crabapple tree as well. And then eventually we grew some vegetables as well, because my mum and dad had loads and loads of fruit bushes: strawberries, raspberries, blackcurrants, gooseberries. They had a big clump of mint as well, which absolutely went rampant as it does. It even spread into next door's garden. It went bloody everywhere. We couldn't it took years to get rid of it. And we had some strawberries as well. So that was where it sort of started. I then jumped forward to I've just finished my GCSEs, and my dad said to me, so what are you going to do now you're leaving school, sort of thing? And I said, well, I haven't got a clue. So what I did was, my old maths teacher, he used to take me for the cricket as well, Mr. Webster. Great bloke he was. So why don't you just stay on another year, Gareth? He said, a lot can change in a year. Retake a couple of those GCSEs that you failed. I think I got a D in them or any year, something. So there were a couple of them that I didn't do too well in. So why don't you retake those? A lot can change in a year. You might change your mind. In between then, I would probably be, let's have a quick think. I'd be nearly 18. My dad come home one day and he said, why don't you start your own business? He said, because I already was maintaining neighbours' gardens and I was weeding neighbours' gardens, things like that. My dad was a dry stone waller. Well, it was in environmental health, my dad, actually. And my dad, but he did dry stone walling and bits like brickwork and block work and things like that in his spare time. So he said, why don't you start your own business? So I was, like I said, I was watching Neighbours one day and thinking how nice Kylie Minogue looked on the TV. And my dad come in and he's like yapping at the back of me and he's going, why don't you do it? And I'm going, start your own, but yeah, I will do, Dad. Yeah, that's fine, no problem. Anyway, next thing you know, I've got my own business. I'm nearly 18. And my dad was mega supportive. You know, he pushed me. And I know I wouldn't have done it without my dad. There's no two ways about it. I would not have got anywhere without my dad. And he was, I mean, I'm a gingerhead, so I'm difficult, aren't I? You know what I mean? And so my dad put up with all that, and mood swings, tantrums when things don't go right. So it was a bit, there was a turbulent times on and off. You know what I mean? And then my dad would come and help me, and it was, it was. That's how it started off. And I had a garden maintenance round, and I was doing bits and bobs of little landscaping jobs, and that is how it started back in 1989.
Yes, you're going a long time.
A long time, yeah, a long time.
You're also a farmer. Is it a farmer lead trainer at the Landscape Academy?
Yeah, I worked there for a while. I did a little bit of task, but I do my own on-site training now. So I qualified as a trainer. I'm a level 3 trainer. I'm also a level 3 assessor. My main role is an expert witness. So I'm basically the country's leading expert witness in hard landscaping, specialising in paving, because I'm on the British Standards Committee for paving, the B507 committee. I've had a small role in bringing out the 102 document, which is an installation document, which I thoroughly enjoyed and learned a lot doing, believe me. On that committee, you've got the likes of David Burton, Ian Walsh, Michael Heap, who were all 70s, early 80s, and it was one of the toughest things I've ever done, because these guys are just like completely top again, and they've got PhDs, and Ian Walsh is a professor, and David Burton, honestly, spent so much time. He's been very, very kind to me, and a guy called David Strolls, who's chair of the APL now, and he spent loads of time with us, just explaining things, like the engineering side of paving and things like that, and much, 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 much more. And yeah, it's something that was a huge challenge at the time. I qualified as a mediator as well, because back in 2020, I decided I'd had enough of landscaping day to day. My health was not in a good place. In 2019, I'd had loads and loads and loads of health issues. 2019, I was hardly in work, to be honest with you, because I dislocated my knee. I then got, we're joined by the cat now, say hello. And then I dislocated my knee in the January. Then in the March, I got bronchitis, and then I got pneumonia. I then went building show gardens at Chelsea without any rest. And my doctor said to me, you need to have a month off. I said, well, that ain't going to happen, because I'm going to Chelsea building show gardens. I can't let people down. Come back from Chelsea working 7 days a week, 14, 15 hours a day, sometimes 16. And I was really, really, really ill. So, I couldn't even get off the settee. I was physically and mentally exhausted, and all because I didn't have any rest after having pneumonia, you see. And then I got over that. I did another month off work, and then I was working in Market Harborough, and there was a lot of long grass around this project that we were working on, and there were deer in the grass, and I got bit off a tick, and I got the first signs of Lyme disease, so I had the bullseye on my leg. And I can remember we only knew this as well because my wife's best friend, her husband, got it before it was a recognised disease in the UK. And he was incredibly ill. He spent hundreds of thousands on treatment in Canada, Germany, Austria as well. I think he's been to Switzerland. He's been all over the world to get treatment for it, and he's only just right now with it. So, but the sign was there, and I remember Catherine, my wife, she sent a picture of my leg to my doctor, who's a mate of mine. And my doctor said, so I was driving just out of Glossop, and the doctor said to me, Guy Wilkinson said, where are you going? I said, I'm going to work. He went, you're not. He said, you're getting back in here now. I said, what do you mean I'm getting back in here? He said, Catherine sent me the picture. He said, get your ass back in here now. So I was back in his surgery, took one look at it, and he went, you're on antibiotics for the next 6 weeks. So I was on antibiotics the next week. So we caught it in time. If it goes over a week, then you really are getting into issues. So I noticed it probably it'd been a couple of days. So I was all right. I was feeling a bit lackluster a bit, and I wasn't feeling great. So then there was that. I got over that, and then I'd not been sleeping well for a long time. So I get to sleep no problem, but then I can wake up in the morning after say 8 hours sleep and feel like I've had an hour. So, and it was stress and things like that. So it got to like 2020, about the November, and the lads, I shut down the company and I set all the lads up in their companies. They bought lots of my tools, things like that. So I sold basically a load of leads to them. I sold all the assets to them as well. And that was it. They got started up. I was mentored to them for a year. And in the meantime, I worked at a couple of academies, but like I say, didn't quite work out. And I started doing my own training and things like that. And then, like I say, expert witness, going looking at, basically some of the worst work you've ever seen in your life, which people have, so I write a court compliant report for these failed landscaping projects. And this is all if the landscaper won't prepare to put things right. But I mean, if you've seen some of the stuff on Instagram that I've posted, and previous work that's been to court in the past, it's horrendous. It really is. So, like I say, mediator and all sorts of things like that. I mix myself about these days.
Yeah, you also, I think, was it BBC's Gardener's World.
No, I've never worked at Gardener's World. I was BBC X-Rays landscaping and garden expert for a while on the TV. I was at Chelsea. I built 4 gardens at Chelsea this year with some amazing teams who I worked with. So that was entertaining. I've built 2 gardens at Chelsea before, but I've never built 4. And that was a massive undertaking. I've been building show gardens at Chelsea, Hampton Court, Tatton, Chatsworth since 2012. And it's basically progressed. We finally got the dream and we got to Chelsea in 2017, and I've been there every year since. Like I say, 14 gold medals later. I've got the grey hair to prove it as well. Yeah, I'm still going, even though I'm not landscaping day to day anymore. So it's, I'm enjoying it. I really enjoy it. I mean, it's very stressful, Chelsea. It's very hard, especially when you do 4 bloody gardens, like. But I could only do those gardens with the most amazing teams that I work with there. Do you know what I mean? Who are, close friends of mine. And, we all put 100% effort in. And this year we got 2 goals at Chelsea. Then what I call my regular team, my pool of guys, which is like Mitchell Salthouse, who's my right-hand man. And then we've got Justin from JJH Landscapes, who's an amazing, amazing landscaper. He won the APL awards, and he's big in the APL. Justin, he's a quality lad. Then we've got Paul from Olive Tree Landscape, and we've got Henry from HG Gardens Woburn, another big APL guy. It was designed by Paul Harvey Brooks. We had Joe from Orin Hortis. We had Rob Woodhouse from Green Fingers. And yeah, we was built for the RNIB, and we got best in show, best construction, and gold medal. So we were quite pleased with that, how it goes. Oh, Glenn and Jack as well, Copeland, the joiners, the carpenters, they are amazing. Jack Glenn's been a friend of mine now for 30 years, and he is just an amazing carpenter. What he can't do isn't worth doing, and his son as well, Jack.
Yeah, Chelsea is kind of, the showcase.
Yeah.
It's on another, like, when we go to, like, we have Bloom, like, but yes. Like, Chelsea is...
Well, my friend Ross Conquest was at Bloom this year. He did very, very well. He's a really good friend of mine, Ross. Conquest Outdoor Spaces. He was at Bloom and he absolutely loved it. He said it's a great show.
Yeah, we had Pip from England was one. Pip
Probo, yeah.
She was her first time at Bloom.
Mm.
I think there was another guy from England over here as well.
That'd be Ross. That'd probably be Ross. Ginger hair?
Could have been, yeah.
You can't miss him.
Yeah.
With the gob as loud as mine.
I haven't been to Chelsea, and that is something I need to, I need to literally tick off the box.
Well,
Really.
come and see me next year. Come and help us out for a day if you like. I'll get you on board and show you around.
That would be, to work even for a day on a garden in Chelsea, I could say that would be probably up there with what I've done in my life.
Don't worry, just and I'll sort all the passes out for you and everything, and come and help us for a day there. No problem at all.
Thank you so much for that offer.
No problem.
So I suppose, as you said, 30 years. I know you haven't been kind of doing the physicalist part as much, but 30 years. What do you think has changed over the 30 years when it comes to landscaping?
I think I'm going into my 36th year now in landscaping, in the industry, because obviously I'm not building gardens today anymore. But what's changed? Well, standards have changed. We've now got a British standard for installation of domestic paving.
We don't have that in Ireland, and that is something that's not over, because I have friends with a lot of pavers, a lot of landscapers, and they, you know what I mean, the amount of, I would call them cowboys, but the amount of work that's being kind of took on by people and then has to be kind of, sorted out by other people is very high over here.
I can imagine. I've got a couple of friends over your neck of the woods. They're in Northern Ireland. Fergie, who's an amazing paver. Gareth Rea as well. I don't know Gareth too well, but I've seen a lot of his work. Bloody good, mate. Bloody good. Really, really, really good. I had a trip to McMonagle Stone as well last year, and I had an amazing time. I can safely say I've not had a hangover since like that the morning after. It was since about 19 or 20. So yeah, that took some wearing off, I'll tell you. But no, there are some cracking lands. I know there's good and bad everywhere. That's all I can say. There's good and bad everywhere. But in Ireland, you have got some belting pavers and landscapers who just, some of the work is just off the scale. So yeah, I understand you've got a few bad ones as well, but we've got plenty of bad ones over here as well, believe me. Plenty.
Yeah, it's just that we don't have, seems to be kind of, someone, you don't get this, checking up on work when it comes to kind of landscaping, like you would, on a building site, electricians or, you know what I mean? It's like anyone can be a landscaper.
Same over here. It's same over here. That's why, we call them COVID landscapers or the race to the bottom landscapers over here. They're doing the job as cheap as possible. They're cutting corners. The standards are crap. But the thing is now, clients have got access to the internet now, and we do have a British standard. We've also got ChatGPT, and people are now using, these resources to see. People are not all stupid, people know that there's a problem, but they're not sure. And sometimes you just need somebody to say, or something to say, they should be doing this, or they should be doing that. They went on YouTube watching videos, things like that. Do you know what I mean? And like I say, you can on ChatGPT, you can't always rely on ChatGPT, obviously, because it's, especially with the 102 document, it's not been out long enough for it to know what's in it. But, certain things, and people, like I say, people aren't daft. It's, like I say, I do 2 or 3 expert cases every single week. And it's just, some of the stuff I see, like I said to you before, is horrendous. Some of it is bad. Some of it is quite bad. And then some of it, and a small amount of it, is all right. Do you know what I mean? It's passable. Some of it's minor snags. And the odd occasion, and I mean the odd occasion, it's been nothing wrong with it. We're talking about 2 out of about 232, that I've been to. But like I said, the information's out there now. And the way I see it now as well is, if you're a landscaper these days, you're a brickie, you're laying block, you're a ground worker, you're a joiner, You're even a kitchen fitter with the outdoor kitchens, or you can be. You know, rendering walls. You know, you're a paver. You're a lot of things to cover. You know, when you're dealing with the weather as well, aren't you? You'll know about that better than anybody over in Ireland. You get more rain. You know, we get a lot of rain in Gloucester, but you get a lot more. It's not called the Emerald Isle for nothing. So, you know, and it's the weather. You could, you know, it's hard. It's hard being a landscaper. You know, there's a lot of things to cover. But yeah, it's training is the key, isn't it? You know, and anybody can just rock up and like start laying a few paving slabs, but doing it right, doing it so it'll last, and doing it to a standard, that's the key. And earning money at the same time.
Yeah, true. And I suppose we have kind of evolved over the last 30 years because, you know, 30 years ago or more, it wasn't really, you know,
No.
it wasn't something. Now it's kind of part. It's like a second room to another room to your house.
Well, I tell you what, you've absolutely nailed it there. Absolutely nailed it. You know, people ever since COVID, when people were getting their the bounce back loans, people were because if you remember in COVID, the weather was beautiful, wasn't it?
Yeah,
absolutely beautiful, and people were going out in the gardens, and they were spending some of that bounce back loan on the garden. You know, that's why there were so many, dare I say, shit landscapers around at the moment, because everybody was having a go at it, and you could be a landscaper. Do you know what I mean? You're working outside. You know, you still have to keep your 2 meters, but you could still landscape, and that's why I think we've got a rut of really poor landscapers in the country.
yeah.
But
it's something that's there's so much to it, as you said earlier on. Like you're kind of doing timber work, you have to lay paving, you have to do walling, plastering is another.
exactly, yeah, rendering, yeah.
You know, I mean, there's so much to it. It's not like a plumber or electrician, like
No.
that kind of a trade.
No, it's not. There's just so much going on. I mean, when I first started, I used to lay Marshall's Heritage paving slabs, the pressed concrete ones, and do crazy paving. They were mainly crazy paving, and it used to be like broken stone roofing slates or broken old York stone paving slabs. And then Indian stone came in, didn't it? You know, it was 30, 40, 50 mil, sometimes 60 mil thick. And it was, natural stone that's affordable. Wow. And then, of course, you get like the different, when it first came over, you just get like your autumn browns. And then all of a sudden you've got the different shades of natural stone coming out. And then you've got the stone, Indian stone. And then we got porcelain. But then again, like, people are doing, look at Ben Broad. Do you know Ben Broad at all?
The name just rings a bell.
Well, I mean, what Ben can do, well, I'll tell you what Ben can't do isn't worth doing. He is that skilled with a grinder. He is that skilled at just so many things. He takes detail in landscaping to the next level. He's a really good mate of mine. He helped us in 2023 at Chelsea, and the guy's a genius. But of course, he's raising the bar. And like I say, everything's an outdoor room now as well. So that's all raising the bar. So people are snagging jobs like it's a room in your house, which, you know, if you're working to a standard and you're competent enough, you shouldn't have a problem with that. But we've also got to remember, for every good contractor, there's a bad contractor. And for every good client, there's a bloody bad one as well.
Yeah. One of the gardens I was it recently, or was it the Viking River Cruises Wellness Garden?
Oh yeah, we did that. Yeah.
That won a gold, didn't it?
Yes, it did. Yeah. The Viking River Cruise Wellness Garden. Yeah, that was in 2018. That was our first show garden at Chelsea. That
Yeah, so that would have been your first gold, then, was it?
That was our first gold at Chelsea. Our first garden was the Peak Reflections Garden at Tatton, a back-to-back garden. That was 6 meters by 4 meters, and to us, it might as well have been Kew Gardens. That seemed like to us at Tatton. And we got a silver gilt and best in category there. And then we had a year out, 2013. I saved me money, and then we worked with a wonderful designer called Caroline Emily Lord. She came to help us. She designed the garden. We designed it together. But mainly, she's just so talented. I'm not a designer. And she was absolutely bloody brilliant to work with. She was amazing. She works at Planet now in Altrincham. And we did that, and we got gold and best in category. And then we teamed up with Paul Harvey Brooks then, and Paul is an amazing designer. He's so clever. He's so good with at the planting as well. And he's taught us a lot. He really has, and he took us under his wing, Paul, and then took us on this huge journey, what took us to building the second biggest show garden in RHS history. We built 503 square metre garden at RHS Chatsworth. To put that into context, the main avenue garden is 22 metres by 11 metres. So, by 10 metres, sorry, so that's 220 square metres. This was 2.5 times bigger. So, nearly 2.5 times bigger. But yeah, that was a huge garden, the IQ garden at Chatsworth. And we won gold, best in show, best construction there. We took the board there as well. But yeah, but then we went through, me and Paul had a little bit of a disagreement for about 18 months. And we got back together and still building show gardens now. So, but like I say, it's not just me, it's
a team.
Paul recognises it's the team. You know, Paul is the first garden designer, really, to accept that it's not all about him, because a lot of these shows are design led. He is massively inclusive, massively.
Yeah, as I said, it's and have you got used to winning? Like, is it just something you're kind of now adapted to, and do you think you'll be kind of still at that game for years? We have someone over.
We've won a lot of awards, so we've been doing it now for 12 years because we've had a couple of years out. So we won 14 golds in 12 years, basically, give or take. And we've won best in shows, we've won best in categories, we've won best construction, all sorts of things. I wouldn't say that we're used to winning because we don't take it for granted, because it's at the end of the day, you're still a little bit in the hands of the gods, you know. I've built gardens where I thought, that should get gold, and it's got a silver gilt. And now a silver gilt's a great medal, but, you know, it's not gold, is it? So you never know. We don't take anything for granted. What I can tell you that we do is we put 100% in, you know, and that's in the planning. I help write the briefs on all the gardens this year. I help write all the briefs that we've been on. And that is one of the hardest parts of doing show gardens, is writing the briefs. So, but yeah, we work with a lot of amazing companies, product companies. So, Core Landscape Supplies, the Keats. We work with Instamac, with their bedding mortars, bonding mortars, things like that. They are amazing. We also work with Penryn Welsh Slate. They supply us with slate products, and they're just a great company. Breedon Aggregates as well, and that's just countless other companies who come in, sponsor us for materials, and basically help us produce the best gardens. We get our plants from Bernard's Nurseries, Lewis and John, and the plants that they brought this year to us, I can't begin to tell you. They were mind-blowing how good they were. We also got some plants from Kelways at Chelsea, and I have to say that plants from Kelways were as well. And of course, Hortus Loci, probably the most well-known for the shows in the country, and for good reason too, because they are bloody amazing. So it's all collaborative, it's all team effort, it's all about the effort that we put in. And like I say, we don't do any of this 99%, it's 100%. And, you know, that's what, you know, we've all been brought up with. And like I say, over the years, we've brought in different contractors into our pool of people who I know, who have come to work with us. And like I say, Justin came with us about 3 years ago. And I mean, Justin's one of my best mates, but still, you know, I knew just the talent that lad's got is off the scale. It really, really is. And his dedication and everything else. He deserves to be where he is in the landscaping industry. He's an amazing landscaper and person as well.
Yeah, we always look at Chelsea every year, and it's always the highlight because there's always a plant or a flower that is literally, everyone wants to get or everyone wants to have. How much work goes on preparing, the planting wise? Like, is that when you pick out plants for your gardens, is it kind of like a year before?
Well, we started the gardens for Chelsea this year around about February in 24. So it's over 12 months planning, over 12 months site visits, tagging trees. We work with a company called Weather It in one of the gardens as well. And Weather It were, they're in the Birmingham area, and we went checking on all the progress there. They were brilliant as well, I have to say. We worked with BBS Natural Stone, who provided these amazing hexagonal stone, limestone slabs, paving slabs on Manoj Molday's garden. And they just look beautiful. Yeah, I mean, like I say, we work with that many good people. The thing is I've got a little bit of a love-hate relationship with it. I love doing it. I love being part of it. I love seeing all my mates who I don't see every day of the week at the shows as well. For some reason, I love the noise. I love the pressure. I love the buzz. I love the buzz. But then when I come out of it, it's like, where's the noise gone? I have ADHD as well, so that's probably part of it. But it's sort of like it's a big come down from the show, a big come down. But after doing 4 gardens at Chelsea this year, I'm not going to lie to you, I was pretty gone. So when we were at Wentworth, Mitchell, my right-hand man, Everest Garden Landscape, you bugger off at like 12, 1 o'clock, go home, have a rest, and then come back in the morning. So that's what we did. And Mitchell was amazing.
Yeah, and how do you, I suppose, not only doing it for yourselves and doing it for your families or the people you work with, you're also doing it for the public.
Yeah. I mean, when you're there as well, you get so many people will come up to you when you're at the after the show, and people you don't know as well, and they'll say, "Oh, we saw such and such a garden that you built there. Oh, it was amazing. It was absolutely fantastic. We really enjoyed it." That gives me a buzz. That really does give me a buzz, and the team a buzz as well. And I don't know if I mentioned this to you before as well, but we have me and Alan. Do you know Alan Sargent at all?
No.
The boss, the Don. The boss, the Don, Mr. Sargent. He is basically the godfather of landscaping, and Alan was a founder member of the APL. He started it off in I think 1989 and 1990 when I was just starting out. And me and Alan started a website, paving.site. So it's a domestic paving installation site basically that covers all that. And so I was at Chelsea, and 2 ladies came up to me. I've never met them before, and I got a tap on the shoulder, and they said, "Gareth, can we just have a quick word with you?" And I thought they wanted to talk about the garden, and they just said, "We're using your website now to specify our garden designs with." And I was like, "Your paving site?" I was like, "Wow, that's amazing." It's also the people that you meet there that you've never met before. So you're meeting different people all the time as well. So it's as big a buzz as it is as well. It's a great networking thing, and it's very rewarding. Very rewarding.
Yeah, I think that's where one plant or one flower I kind of fell in love with. I think was the first time I saw it. I don't know, it was a couple of years ago at Chelsea. Was the alliums. They were literally, you'd see them on the telly and you'd go, "I need to have alliums." Everyone wanted alliums, and I have, fell in love with them, and it was literally Chelsea where I kind of, I suppose, first spotted them.
Well, when you basically what you're getting with Chelsea is an instant garden, aren't you? And you're seeing plants how they should grow, and how they can grow, and how they can grow with other plants as well, and how well they both look in different schemes. And the other beauty about Chelsea is when Mark Gregory was doing the Welcome to Yorkshire Gardens, he built basically a canal and a lock. And if you were just tunnel vision with your blinkers on, looking at that garden, you were in Yorkshire, looking at the lock gates and the canal. You weren't in London. You were just in. It was just amazing, and it's things like that that are really, that take your breath away. Absolutely take your breath away.
So then, Garrett, I suppose, can you give us one of the highlights of your career? Is there something that you that stands out?
Let's have a look. There are several things, but I'll work my way to the top one. Getting my first Chelsea gold, being at Tatton for the first time, and winning best in category and silver gilt medal, and But the one thing I think that I'll always remember is I won the most influential landscaper, the pro landscaper, most influential landscaper, 2023. They hold it every 5 years, and I basically won most influential landscaper. And I remember I was like, it was at Futurescape, so I had when I was doing my paving demonstration, things like that, there was a friend of mine who was next door who just kept passing me beers all day. So I'd had a few drinks, and I was about to leave the award ceremony, and one of the young ladies who works for Pro Landscaper went, "Gareth, wait there," and I was like, "Oh God," I was just thinking, I'm absolutely wrecked here. I've been drinking all day. She went, "Gareth, wait there now," and I was like, "Right, okay." And then they started to announce it, and then I won it. So it was, and I didn't expect it. I just didn't expect it. So I think, there it is, actually. And as if by magic. So yeah, that's what I won. Most influential landscaper. So yeah, I would say winning the most influential landscaper of the UK was probably the most memorable.
And then finally, what does Gareth do to switch off?
Gareth doesn't switch off. That's Gareth's problem. Gareth's having therapy for that, by the way. Because of my ADHD, I never switch off. So I'm always wanting to I'm writing articles for my website. I've been doing the Barley Awards. I judged the Barley Awards. I judged the Bradstone Awards, the Pro Landscaper Awards, the Brett Awards. So I've been judging the Barley Awards today. And I have to say the Barley Awards this year, every year they're amazing, but this year it's going to be some tough deliberation for who wins the Barley Awards, because every garden I've been to has been like, I'm struggling to find any issues at all. It's been so high, the quality. I can't begin to tell you. But switching off wise,
hobbies.
I'm learning how to do that with my cognitive behaviour therapist. So I will be wanting to go to. I do like it in Crete, Manos Moldes, beautiful villa in Crete. I love it there. But me and my wife are going to book somewhere in January, and we're going to go away for a few days there. But yeah, I'm going to now compress things, and I'm going to take more time. I'm going to relax more. So that's what I'm going to do. More walking. That's what I'm going to do.
But then I suppose you're already planning nearly ahead for next year.
Well, we've been planning Chelsea 2026 now since March this year. Yeah. So the wheels are already in motion there.
So I suppose then, what are your plans for the rest of the year? Have you anything in the pipeline, or next year? I assume one or more gardens at Chelsea.
At the moment, there's one. We've got another one in the pipeline for another show. And that'll be one of the new RHS shows. My website, paving.site with Alan Sargent, is absolutely going incredibly well. It's sponsored by some of the industry's leading paving suppliers. I can't name them all. There's that many of them. So they're all getting on board and supporting our website, which is going to obviously raise the standards of landscaping, well, paving. So I'll be writing articles for that. I'll be updating that constantly. We'll be adding new pictures. We're going to be doing a YouTube channel as well for paving.site. We've started getting content together for that now. I was with my really good mate, Nelson Birch, the other week, the resin bound expert who Nelson Birch can keep you talking about resin bound gravel from here until a week on Wednesday. He is that knowledgeable on that subject. He really, really is. Big with Uber. So yeah, I'll be looking to, we put it on the website all the time. And Alan Sargent, the Don, is having his final farewell seminar in September down at Mark Gregory's Glass House in Cobham. What else am I doing? I've got some training to do and bits and bobs of things like that. But apart from that, yeah, that's it. Expert witness stuff, and yeah, take each day as it comes.
So I suppose then, how can people check out the websites or your website?
So I've got my my website for consultancy is GK Wilson. Can't miss that one. GK Wilson Consultancy. And then paving.site is Alan and mine little baby, which has got, so much about paving installation. We're even doing a client checklist now as well. So if you're a client, you were saying about the bad contractors and things before, we've got a client checklist that we're going through very thoroughly now. That will be going onto the website soon. But we've got a contractor and bad client checklist as well going on. So don't forget, it's a two-way road. You know what I mean? There's good and bad everywhere. So, and yeah, that's what we're up to now. So yeah, the paving.site and GK Wilson. That like I said, that's my consultant's website. Paving.site. It's worth a look. Have a look. Everybody should have a look. Give it a going over.
Thank you so much, Gareth, for that. I was
no problem at all.
Fascinated and blown away. I think you had me at the start there when you just said pop over to Chelsea. I think.
Yeah, no problem.
You literally had me at that. That was it.
More than welcome. Just remember the time you got my number and you got me on Instagram. Thanks a lot.
So thanks for coming on.
No problem. Thank you for having me. I've really, really enjoyed it.
Same.
Cheers, mate.
So that wraps up another week on the Premier Garden Show. Thanks again for tuning in and for viewing, listening, following, liking the Premier Garden Show across all our platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. So guys, that was a very, very interesting conversation with our guest this week, Gareth K. Wilson. Thanks again, Gareth, for coming on to the Premier Garden Show. Thanks again for your invite and for allowing me the opportunity to come across and work on one of Chelsea's gardens next year. Please God, I can take you up on that offer. It would be an absolute pleasure and honour to work on a Chelsea flower show. So guys, normally at the end of each episode we do get a clip on next week's guest, but unfortunately I do not want to release a clip for next week's guest because I have already recorded a guest that is for next week, but next week's guest would be our 30th this year, and I have approached someone that I had on nearly 2 years ago on the Premier Garden Show, and this guy is still one of the most listened podcasts that I've done, and I'm kind of hoping to record an episode with him to mark our 30th guest. But if not, I do have another guest that is worthy of being our 30th guest as well, already recorded. So we have a backup plan. So guys, stay tuned to the Premier Garden Show over the coming days for any more info on that. And as I said to you, please follow on Instagram and on Facebook, the Premier Garden Show, and also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and on YouTube. All the videos of each episode, plus the audio of each episode, will be available to listen and to watch. Thanks again to our sponsors, Gardena. You've been wonderful. As always, you are 100% behind the Premier Garden Show. Thanks again for everything you do. So that wraps it all up for another week. As I said, catch this episode now across all our social media platforms and on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So that's about it, guys. Enjoy the rest of your week. Please God, we will see you all again next week. Mind yourself, mind each other, and enjoy the rest of the week and enjoy the weekend. Until the next time on the Premier Garden Show, keep your hands in the dirt and your heart in nature. Until the next time on the Premier Garden Show.
Thanks for listening to the Premier Garden Show, and we will see you in the next episode. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and join all our social media.
do 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 do.